some of the visual artifacts are horrendous. I was playing Ghosts of Satsuma, and
Classic.
And I turned on frame generation on that, and I was playing on handheld for a while on the Ally X with frame gen on. I was like, this is all right. I was like, I don't know, there's something going on. I thought my screen was broken, genuinely, and I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. Turned it off, it was gone. I was like, okay, so it's frame gen. Put it on the TV where you're stretching it out to a massive image, and I was like, oh, okay, still happening. When it has a problem with the tops and bottoms of the screen.
Yes.
So I had probably an inch from the bottom if I'm on the TV, if not like 5 millimeters, like from the bottom of my screen, like a whole line from corner to corner of the entire screen where there was just a tear. Yeah. Constantly
tearing in and out.
Yeah. Yeah. In that one area. Yeah. Whilst there was like ghosting or flickering somewhere else. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, it was so odd.
That bordering tear, I've seen multiple, like watching people's videos on this. Yeah. Multiple examples of that, like a really common thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's always on the top or the bottom or both.
Yeah,
you know, it's either or.
And that straight, because that's so big and visual, that's like, what's going on?
Yeah, if you notice it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. So I didn't notice it for a while because a lot of the time your eyes are in the center of the screen.
Which is what it's relying on.
Yes. Yeah. And so you're like, okay, it's passable. I'll leave that to go. But once you notice it, you can't stop looking at it. You're like, what's that?
There's things flickering
Why is my screen
corner?
breaking? Yeah. It literally looks like the screen's going to turn off in a minute. Because do you know what I mean? It's like, oh no. It's
expect a deadline to appear.
Yeah. So it's like, oh no. So there's that. There's then like weird warping and stuff. So you'll find if there's a straight line and your guy's got like a pistol or something and you're pulling in and out. I showed this on Resident Evil 4 with lossless scaling. Yeah. So where there's like a wall edge, it's trying to artificially like fake what's around it. But because it's so clear cut, like and crisp what's happening, you can see it trying to, it literally looks like you've got one of those like balls, see-through balls, and you look through it.
Warping
yeah, and it warps it. It looks like you're pushing one of these spheres like backwards and forwards. It's really weird.
Your example in Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, going up the stairs.
Yeah, that was horrendous.
Which is another example of like the defined straight lines. Straight lines are steps that you're walking up. Yeah. Straight lines are a real problem.
And they're moving.
Yes, because it's moving. It's trying to predict where that straight line should be in the artificial frames in between. Yeah. And because of that, it's going to get it wrong. Yeah. Because they're such straight lines, but the camera's moving and the character's moving over the top of it. So you get this weird, almost like ghosting effect around where the character would be.
Would be, yeah.
And you also get the lines have changed position or they've bent. That doesn't just make me feel a bit sick. Like I say, it pulls me out of the game because now I'm worried about what technical thing is going wrong here.
Yes, yeah.
So for a tool to pull you out of the game means the experience has been ruined because now my head's in, how do I fix that problem?
Yeah, something's broken. Yeah. Let me fix it. Yeah. You're not enjoying the game anymore. You're not in that world, whatever, you know? So that's the thing I found. And this is the other slight difference between the other two types of frame gen, where you've got frame gen that's been implemented by the developers. Yeah. So that has been, this works, we've built this into the game. Yeah. And then software or driver-based frame gen that you're slapping over yourself, like AFMF or lossless scaling. So AMD's FSR 3 frame gen is what will be pushed in from the developer, as well as DLSS frame gen. But I'm just talking about FSR 3 here for a second. So let's take Spider-Man Miles Morales, because it's something I played the past couple of months or whatever. That has been put in there by the devs. So they've gone, yep. And what that means is it will apply frame gen to the game, but not the overlay. So the HUD is all the graphics and stuff are not being frame gened. So that's good because it means none of that gets artifacting. Yeah. But the game will still have this tearing, or you might have ghosting or like weird warping like bits like here and then, or people like smudging into the wall. And whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like you get like all these weird problems, which that is the best use case of software based. If a game hasn't got it put in, like Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII, and you force it over the top with lossless or AFMF, then it can't differentiate what the game is and what the overlay is. Yes. So it just frame gens everything.
Because it's just seeing the whole picture.
It's saying the entire thing. So like with Resident Evil 4, with the crosshair, Leon's gun, I was moving that around a load, and it was like there was like loads of them.
Yeah.
Because it was like, whoa, what's
It's
that
broken.
little
Yeah,
line doing? You know, so your crosshair's like completely all over the place. Obviously, you can tune it a bit depending on your settings.
Yeah.
And I show you how to do that in that guide, but it's still there.
And that is the end of that, unless you want to see more, and then it's only just the beginning of your journey.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, I just came up with it just now. Yes, that was the end of that clip of the podcast. If you want to see what we're talking about actually in a full podcast fashion, then click on the link there and watch it. And, maybe subscribe as you leave or like before you leave.
Like before you leave.
Nice catchphrase, that.
Oh.